Hey everyone, I'm Roman and we're about to go on yet another musical adventure, a musical dice challenge, the fifth one already, so let's get to it. Roman's Random Quiz. I'm very glad to see you back for another musical dice challenge. When you're new to this channel, I want to explain briefly what we will be doing today. I made 3 custom-made musical dice, 3 beautiful... Each die representing a unique musical concept. There's one for time signatures, there's one for 7 modes, and there's one for 12 keys. I'm about to throw these dice, and the combination we will get out of them have to serve as ingredients for a song I have to write. And what I would like to emphasize is that we will be approaching the songwriting process from somewhat of a theoretical standpoint today. But I want to stress that your feeling, your heart, your ears, that should be the most important thing and should always lead the creative process. The beautiful thing is that these 3 concepts are in all the music we love. So by looking at it from this perspective, we can get really nice insights and learn a lot about different approaches of songwriting and different emotions we can evoke. So I will throw the dice and then I will explain the outcome. We will dive into the creative process together, and along the way I will share my passion and knowledge about music with you. After that I will record everything and come up with an arrangement for the song so we can add things here and there. We'll learn how to not just compose but also arrange. And after that I will perform the song. I very much hope that that will be an educative, inspiring and entertaining journey for you. By the way, Christmas is around the corner, so I'm wearing my Christmas sweater. That's the most Christmas you will get out of me in this episode. I'm not gonna write a Christmas song, but we will get something interesting for sure. These dice have never let me down so far. Let's get to it. Once again, a very nice combination. We have to work with the Dorian mode in the key of E in 7/8. Let's start with the Dorian mode. The Dorian mode starts on the 2nd degree of the major scale. Its formula in terms of whole and half steps is 1 whole note, a half note, a whole note, a whole note, another whole note, that's the raised 6th. That's what makes a Dorian. Then we have a half step, then a whole step, back to the root. So it's basically a minor scale with a raised 6th note, borrowing that note from the major scale. So the nice thing about the Dorian mode is that it makes minor a little less minor. Gives it a sprinkle of hope, and that's what I love about this mode actually. In my opinion, it's the ultimate combination between melancholy and hope. 2 beautiful contrasts which are kind of symbolic, metaphoric for life. The Dorian mode is used in many genres, from rock to blues to jazz to classical. Some notable songs using the Dorian mode are Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd, Mad World by Tears for Fears, Get Lucky by Daft Punk, and Wicked Game by Chris Isaak. Then on to the key of E. So we have to play Dorian in the key of E, and the scale I've just showed you dictates a certain chord progression, because all the chords we make with notes from the scale. We start with an E minor, then we go to a F sharp minor, then to a G, then to a A major. That's really what makes Dorian so Dorian, is this minor 1 chord and a major 4 chord. Then we go to a B minor, then we go to a C sharp diminished, to a D, back to E minor. And then we need to know what a 7/8 time signature is. A 7/8 time signature is an odd time signature. Really interesting always, because when time signatures are odd, they don't really give this feeling of arriving back at the same point at the same time. That sounds a little bit cryptical, but when I play it you will probably hear it, because normally The vast majority of music is written in 4/4, but a 7/8 has 3 more counts, so you could see it as a 4/4 and a 3/4 combined, or the other way around. But we get 7 counts in a bar. That's basically what we have to do. And we can divide these 7 counts up in different groups. But as long as we have 7 counts in a bar, we're playing a 7/8 time signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. But a more common way to think about this is, like I mentioned, divided in groups of 4 and 3 or 3 and 4. So now that we have all of this beautiful information to incorporate in the song, let's get right to it. Obviously, there are many different approaches to writing a song, so I would like to explore a little bit what we can do with the Dorian mode. Since we're in the key of E, that's a very nice key to play riffs in because we have this low E string. A lot of classic rock riffs are also written in this mode, to name just one. First, I want to explore the possibilities of a riff here. To put emphasis on the Dorian mode, we need to work with this raised 6th note. So we have minor tonality with a raised 6th note. So maybe we can look for something cool with those notes. So that means I need a root note, there or in the octave, doesn't really matter at this point. And then I want to hit the minor 3 of this E to demonstrate it's E minor, otherwise this could still be major as well. But we want to hear this minor E. Maybe we can start the riff with something like that. And then I want to have this Dorian sound to it, so this raised 6 to the 7, to the minor 7, I mean. Back to the root maybe. That could be a nice start of the riff. I really like this actually already. So we're using the notes from D Dorian and with a little phrasing here and there. Hammer on, pull off, and a slide. Makes the riff more interesting instead of just playing the notes flat, so to say. It's more boring. It's cool. More alive. This is just 4 counts if I'm not mistaken. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, that's right. So then we need 3 more. Maybe we can use some of the other chords to kind of take this riff somewhere so that we're not in E the whole time. Maybe I want to do this roll again. What I have earlier, but then maybe here. Because then I can easily go to a G chord, which is in the house of E minor. And then this A major chord would be nice to highlight again the Dorian mode. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 1. So we have a riff in E minor Dorian now. But I also want to explore the possibility of some chords. Because this could be a cool start or a hook or a chorus kind of riff maybe. Because I don't feel this is a verse, it's too busy. There's not really much room to sing over this. So we need something for a verse that gives more space for vocals. Let's again focus on this E minor and A major chord and see what we can do with that. Because the riff is so fast with many notes, we could kind of spread out these chords and make them longer. We also have an open E string and an open A string. So perhaps I can also look for an E minor in this position. An A is also really close by. With the same shape and a different bass note, we get these 2 chords. I'm not really a big reggae guy. Don't hate me in the comments for that, but maybe it could be cool to have this little reggae thing here. Could be a cool switch between that and the riff. To make it a little bit more in the reggae genre, we have to focus on the upbeats. That's what the guitar most of the time does in reggae. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh yeah, then I need 3 more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 Let's see how that sounds after the riff, because this could be actually a really nice change, I think. That's cool, because we have a really nice contrast between the faster riff and the longer chords, the longer notes in the verse, so that it leaves a lot of room for vocals. Still, we have two very rhythmical parts here. I'm kind of looking for something, maybe a couple of open chords to, as a pre-chorus maybe, to connect these two parts. Maybe we can just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and... My ear leads me to a C chord, which is not really in the key of E minor Dorian, but it is in the regular key of E minor. We could borrow that chord. Modal interchange, because that's the minor 6. Gives us a fresh chord in comparison to the E minor and the A major we kind of focus on the whole time. C, maybe to a G, to A major. That already works. It's a little thing which is used in music very often are dominant chords. If you don't know what a dominant chord is a major chord with a minor 7 added to it. And it's always on the 5th degree of the home chord. And then we want to go back to our home chord. It kind of forces us, that's why it's called a dominant chord, back to our home. So that could be a cool pre-chorus maybe. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now we've played it 2 times, so I need something fresh here. So for the 3rd time, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have ourselves a song. I'm playing it acoustic now, but I think this will be an electric song. Just start really heavy. So now it's time to record this, come up with some arrangement ideas. I will get back to you real soon to take you through what I've created, what I've arranged. Okay, my friends, I've just recorded everything and I'm very excited to take you through what I came up with. This turned out to be a pretty fun one, so let's get to it. Let's start with the guitars. There's a lot going on throughout the whole song. I recorded a lot of guitars, so I kind of went overboard here, but it serves a purpose. And I'll tell you why. We start with the riff here in the beginning. I recorded the riff with 3 different guitars. First with my Les Paul Jr. with the P90 pickup and an octaver, which gives it really, this is one of my favorite sounds ever, to be honest. That's really like a fist in the mid frequency spectrum. To open that up a little bit, I added my Telecaster with the bridge pickup to give it some sharpness and some more attack. It sounds like this. There's my Les Paul Custom with humbuckers, filling another part of the frequency spectrum. But when you hear it all together, it makes it larger than life. And obviously I spread them out I panned them left and right to really make it wide. So basically I've played this part 6 times. I dubbed every track. And when you do something like that, all the little details in your phrasing, you have to really repeat every time you do it, because otherwise it gets very sloppy when you're double tracking so many guitars. So for instance, all these little stops and slides and little things you have to repeat every time, so you have to be really conscious about your playing. So I really took my time to get that right. And then I dubbed the riff with the bass almost entirely, except from the beginning, because I felt like it was more steady when I played the first part of the riff more simple on the bass. And this part, I play along, and then not anymore, then again, together with the riff. So I think that works really nice. The riff is played 4 times, so the first 2 times is just the riff, and then the 3rd and 4th time I recorded a harmony on the riff, which is this one. Also on the Telecaster, because I only dubbed that, so that part has to fight against 6 other parts, so I kind of want to poke out of the mix a little bit, and with the single coil pickups kind of cut it through better. So that's a really cool harmony there. And then at the end of this, there's a little triplet delay thing, which is also really found often in reggae. It's the E minor chord, and one of them is lower, and the other one is higher. Panned left and right. So that's a cool little thing leading us into the verse. And then into the verse, obviously, we have this reggae part. I played it on my Telecaster to give it a more open sound with single coil pickups. We know that part, right? I'm not the best bass player, but I must say I'm proud of myself here, because I came up with a cool bass part. And it goes like this, together with the drums. So I tried to keep that very snappy and short, to kind of put a contrast to what we get later in the pre-chorus and the chorus, with all the long notes and everything. So this has to be a bit snappy. Cool vibe, right? Because I'm playing 4 rounds of this whole chord progression. I thought to tickle the ear a little bit halfway with a little lick. And there's another little thing here. You might be wondering what the sound is I'm using there, and it's a Leslie simulation I have in my Strymon Mobius, and that makes it really watery and liquidy. Is that a word? Liquidy? Also with some reverb to put it a little bit in the background. And it's just enough to give us some fresh information, even though nothing is happening really, except for all the grooviness and the vocals that's going on there also, but we'll get to the vocals later. The pre-chorus, and in this pre-chorus there's also happening a lot. Obviously the drums and the bass continue, the Telecaster from the verse is also continuing there. Just some chords. And I played those chords on another position, on the neck, also on another guitar. Higher up, so together you get this really wide sound. And I exactly dubbed those 2 parts with acoustic guitars. To make it big and open there. And to finish it off, I came up with these 2 pedal notes that kind of glue the whole thing together. They kind of stay on the same notes, changing 1 note here and there. There's this little diminished run up on the B7 chord, which kind of forces it even more into the chorus. I do that later on as well, in a little different way, but kind of is the same thing. And then, at this point, we get to kind of the outro solo. I keep playing the riff, but I felt like it needed something to elevate it in the end. Since the hook of the song lyrically turned out to be "Skies are clear," which is also how I will name this song, I thought I need something to break it open also, kind of this angelic open sound. So I came up with an idea with a slide, which I have here. A very nice one, very beautiful. Oh yeah, there it is. And my ebow, which is kind of electromagnetic thing to make the string resonate without you even playing it. I played 4 different notes of an E chord, E minor 7 chord, and those notes are smeared out over the whole riff and function as sort of pedal notes, so I really love that. As you can tell, there are a lot of guitars in here, and in a way you kind of lose the feeling of one person playing, but you win this large sound. So that's always kind of a give and take here. Anyway, let's move on to the vocals. The vocals I kept really simple, for the verse at least. There's just one vocal.
All these little drops falling from the heavens, pouring on whoever as they go. While I slowly soak it in, I do remember.
And for the pre-chorus I came up with the idea to have a call and response in the vocals. So that led me to finding lyrics where the first line ends on a syllable that the first sentence uses to pick up and give the response. Twilight's wearing thin, and then the second line picks it up with thinking about you. So you kind of seamlessly roll from one sentence into the other.
Twilight's wearing thin, thinking about you.
And I do that again with a different word for the second sentence.
What will be, come as news has reached my ear.
So you have the lead, which is dubbed.
Twilight's wearing thin. What will be.
And then there's a harmony to that.
Twilight's wearing thin. What will be.
For the last sentence there's even a third harmony.
News has reached my ear.
Build towards the chorus there. For the responses, that's also dubbed every line.
Thinking about you.
There's a lower one. There's the octave of that.
Thinking about you.
And then a harmony to it. I believe it's a fifth.
Thinking about you.
Yeah, and then all together, which I think turned out really cool.
Twilight's wearing thin. Thinking about you. What will be, come as news has reached my ear.
And then we arrived at the chorus. And the chorus I also kept quite simple, though I recorded everything a couple times.
Skies are clear.
So that's kind of the hook, the chant, because the riff is so busy. I didn't want to sing too much, just something simple. And that turned out to be the words, skies are clear. So that's about it. I think we got it. Yes! And I must say, I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Turned out to be a fun song, I think. There's nothing left to do than to listen to the whole song. And I'm very excited what you think about it. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you will all subscribe and like and leave a comment, letting me know what you think about this. And before I play the whole song, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you next year, everyone, for a new episode.
Falling from the heavens, pouring on whoever as they go. While I slowly soak it doesn't matter. There's a shiver dancing restless on the breeze, guaranteed to shake things up in here. As I'm waving with the wind, I wind up whittling to welcome everything in. Twilight's wearing thin. What will be, will be. As news has reached my ear, skies are clear. Skies are clear. Skies are clear. Skies are clear. Crashing on the cliffs, back into the ocean, lost without a notion, gone at sea. Sinking through the sand to where no one ever went, just a trace of a memory, hidden in a box, sealed off to the weather. I have put whatever I can't lose. You may come in to look and maybe leave a feather. From here on out, it's now, now, now or never.